Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot, or of course, welcome to the channel if you're brand new here. Thank you so much for joining me today for a good old-fashioned spirit guide message reading. Basically, we're just going to do a check-in with your spirit guides and ask them today, what is the most crucial message that they have for you right now at the time you view this reading? So, pretty straightforward. Without further ado, let us choose your cards to pick your piles with today. So spirit team, spirit guides, for everyone viewing this reading, could you please guide us to the right cards for 3 different piles for their messages? Thank you. Okay, so for pile 1 today, we have number 35, Conscious Connections. Conscious Connections. And I'm feeling this one for pile 2 today. We have number 18, Spirals of Manifestation. And last but not least, for pile 3, I'm feeling this one back here. We have number 23, Defend to the End, the Worthwhile. So just to do a quick refresher, pile 1 is Conscious Connections. Pile 2 is Spirals of Manifestation. And pile 3 is Defend to the End, the Worthwhile. Though, of course, as always, you're free to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you today. But whenever you're ready, after following what I suggest your first gut instinct is, drop down to the description box below and or the top pinned comment beneath the reading. Find the timestamp there for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about your spirit guide message check-in today. What's most crucial for you to know at this moment? See you there. Hello there, my lovely pile number 1. Welcome today to your spirit guide check-in crucial message reading. As you recall, the pile leader you chose was number 35, Conscious Connections. And as is our tradition, we'll set your pile leader over here to the left next to the pine cones to start the reading off. And then, of course, we'll draw your oracle cards to begin the reading. So, spirit guides coming forward for pile 1 today. Could you please guide us to the right cards that explains more about what you want them to know? What's crucial for them to know at this moment in time? Thank you. Okay. So first card today, pile 1, is Surrender to Silence. And right down here it says, in quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a hermit card vibe here with the first oracle card from the Surrender deck. I'll set that one up here. Actually, I might set that over here. I lied, we're going to set it over here. Beautiful. Surrender to Silence. And then the next deck today. Okay, we actually have 2 cards that just popped out, so I'll show you that here. We have both number 9, Epiphany from Higher Self, and we have number 25, Goals from Teacher Guides. So I'm thinking what they're really reaching out to you about today, pile 1, is something to do with an epiphany regarding a goal that you of course, we do have the message about surrender to silence, so we'll talk about that in a second, because that's more advice, kind of, the advice part of the reading, but definitely something that you've been working on, that you maybe have been looking for advice on, or at the very least your spirit guides want you to know or have like a breakthrough on, because that's basically what epiphany means, right? Is a breakthrough, seeing things clearly, like how she's holding like her eye and she's looking through her fingers through the triangle. And then I take it back. I lied once more. We're actually going to set that up here. Sorry, pile 1. You're always kind of my guinea pig for figuring out the setup of everything on the desk. So thank you for being my pioneers, pile 1. And then last but not least, let's see what we have from the Lantern Oracle for the first part of the reading. Let's see. Definitely this one. We have circle, or no, I'm not, sorry, not circles. Sharing, number 33. There is giving and receiving and giving. So we have a group of people who are with each other. Very fitting for this time of year if you're in a country that celebrates Thanksgiving, right? Because this is exactly the time of year we think about giving and receiving and being thankful for things. But it can also indicate a group-oriented situation at hand, because we do have a group of people of all different backgrounds, all different ages, that are getting together and they're sharing their bounty, especially at the time of harvest, which is, at the time this reading at least, is going up. Of course, it's timeless. You can watch it any time of year, but specifically right now in end of November into December, right? We think about things that we've reaped, things that we've grown, things that, now that we have this bounty, how do we share it with others, or should we share it with others, is maybe another question coming up. So far, pile 1, just to reiterate, something that you've been really working on, that you have been either looking for an epiphany for or some sort of breakthrough, especially too with the goals card showing someone that is doing a martial art. I think of Taekwondo, especially because of the kicking, right? It's like you've been trying to work through breaking through something. You've been trying to get an obstacle out of the way, and there's something very heavily related to social groups or other people being involved here, because not only did we have the sharing card, like I just explained that, so I won't repeat that, but you also have the pile leader that you were drawn to, which is conscious connections. It's all about being very aware of what we bring to relationships, be they platonic, familial, or romantic, right? Or working relationships as well, if this is like career-oriented. Or it can also be about thinking about what other people bring to relationships, not just ourselves. So it's that nature of the energy of reciprocation here. Okay, conscious connections. What are we bringing? What are other people bringing? Who's sharing? Who's receiving? Are people sharing too much? Is someone receiving too much? Okay. And so it seems like it's either a situation where you have been very conscious about, either you've been putting in too much or someone else has been putting in too much and you're worried about them and their health because of that, or your own health if you've been putting in too much yourself. Or it's like you have been really blind to that recently and your spirit guides are trying to bring this to your attention, pile 1, saying, hey, pay attention to this thing because there's something going on here that's not fair to you or fair to someone else, or at least in the most symbolic way I can explain it, pile 1, is there is not a consistent flow of energy, of effort and receiving in this particular circle, okay? Of course, I will draw tarot cards. I haven't even gotten to your tarot cards yet because I just like to focus on the oracle cards at the beginning of the readings, right? But I have a feeling that they're probably going to maybe have a lot of pentacles, which tends to indicate career. For some reason, a lot of readings recently have had this issue where it's been like something about being off at work. I don't know if there's just like a collective thing kind of going on with a lot of people, or maybe people who watch this channel specifically, right? But who are in our soul circle that share the readings. So, I mean, if you have been struggling with this, pile 1, you're not alone. This is very common lately and apparently just common across the world, I think. At least that was very common when, I worked a more traditional job before this one, right? Because that's a big struggle in relationships, is how much do we give and how much do we take? That's a common question we need to ask ourselves and focus on, because if things are not equally distributed between people in both effort and reception of the fruits of that effort, right? People get frustrated, teamwork falls apart, etc. All the things that can kind of go wrong if people feel like something is unfair. So we might also see a little bit of a justice bent here. But specifically too, getting back to the Power of Surrender card that you received, which was surrender to silence. I'll just reread that quote again. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. I think that's more of an indicator that for most of you, this is more of something that you're not paying attention to enough. Hence why your spirit guides are imploring you, please think a little bit more about this situation, okay? Meditate on it a little bit more because, and especially this time of year, if you're watching this reading at the time that it's uploaded, right? We can get caught into the hustle and bustle of the holidays, end of year things. I know a lot of businesses, depending on your job, pile one, year end is very, very busy. Like I know accountants tend to have that issue. It's like very busy year end, right? Or like marketing maybe sometimes too, just getting the marketing out there and things like that. But no matter what your job is, pile one, or even if this is related to your job, we'll see that more with the tarot cards here in a moment. They want you to pay as much attention as possible so that you can get that epiphany on this situation. And maybe, like I said, maybe you've already kind of even noticed it. And you've come to this reading being like, well, what the heck do I do to fix this imbalance of reciprocal energy in this situation? Okay, how do I fix this? And that's more where the tarot cards will come in to explain more. What's the fix? What advice do they have for you? Because, like I said, as the title of this reading, what is a crucial message that your spirit guides want you to know? And so I have a feeling it's very pertinent for you to know what the answer is to this. Just not only for making energy flow in a giving and receiving equality once again in this situation, but also just to lessen the stress off of your back, because your spirit guides don't want you to be stressed. They want you to have, I guess the easiest way is not the best way to phrase it, but they want you to have the most enriching path through life, okay? Especially when it comes to lessons that we learn and getting through struggle so that you learn those lessons with a little bit of a nudge of help from time to time. That's what they're there for. That's what spirit guides do, right? And I'm going to just look at these cards just a little bit more here, pile one, to see if there's any symbolism I can really key into, as well as intuitive messages from your pile. I was going to say your pile leader. Your spirit guides, right? So let's look at this here. Yeah, pile one, I want to say it feels like there's one person that has quite a lot more than everybody else in this situation, because we see in this particular card from the Lantern Oracle, the giving and receiving card sharing, the redheaded woman here, she has quite a lot of bounty in her arms, and it feels like there is an authority endorsing this in the situation, like it makes sense that person has a lot. Like, they're not really doing what they're supposed to make sure that with their authority that they can force someone to share more than they already are, or distribute things a little bit more equally than they already are. And it feels like either one or at least two people in the situation are not getting what they're deserving here, just from the symbolism of this card. And I don't know why that authority figure is exactly enabling that person to hoard so much of the energy and receiving of the fruits of labor, but it really just does seem like one person is getting everything, and that's probably causing a lot of frustration, because you might be on the end of, well, how do I break through this? And that's maybe the epiphany that you're looking for, is how do I make this more fair here without the authority that this person who isn't using their authority in the best way, in the right way, is like they're not doing their job effectively, is kind of just a way to summarize it, right? And it's like everyone involved has to kind of put on a happy face and pretend that nothing's wrong. It's, oh, everything's great. Even though everybody knows very obviously there's one person that's being favored and getting everything. Okay, that's kind of what it seems like to me. And then let me look at your pile leader as well, conscious connections here. I'm going to just unveil that for a moment. Yeah, it's like having to pretend to shut your eyes and not pay attention or notice, but you do notice anyways. It's like pretending to not care, but deep down, like, the people that are not receiving in the situation actually do care for obvious reasons. They do care. It's just like a situation where you feel socially pressured not to make a big stink about it. Like, you ever those situations in life, pile one, where like, something isn't fair, but like if you speak up, people are going to be like, there's like that social pressure not to say anything or rock the boat. And so people just don't say anything because they're like, well, I don't want to get punished for speaking up, or I don't want to seem like I'm needy or that I'm begging. Those types of emotions driving why we might not stand up for ourselves more. Yeah. And two, there's a lot about speaking or not speaking, especially with the emphasis on silence here from the Power of Surrender card that you received. It's like someone's just not speaking up when someone should be. And it's frustrating. Okay, so let me draw your tarot cards here, pile 1, to get more of detail from your spirit guides on kind of what they want you to do in this situation, or like what's the trajectory on the current path you're on with this. So, spirit guides for pile 1 reaching out, can you please guide us to the right answer regarding what should they do in this situation, or what's the trajectory, like the truth of what's going on? About 5 cards, please. Thank you. Okay, so we already have 2 here that popped out. 3 of Wands reversed and the 9 of Pentacles reversed. Yeah. Not getting the fruits of your labor is what the 9 of Pentacles is all about. I'll show that here for a second. You can see he's kind of like reaping the harvest of the watermelon, but reversed, it's like you're not getting what you put in. That's exactly the energy I was just talking about, pile 1. So that's good to see that reconfirmed with the tarot cards. 3, 4, and 5. So what to do about it? Because it's one of those sucky situations where it's hard to speak up. It's hard to, sometimes you might not even notice the way that you're kind of getting screwed over, pile 1, it seems like. Because sometimes in life we just don't notice. We just think, oh, this is ho-hum, this is normal, like our bare minimum normal, and then you realize that it really is like rock bottom bare minimum, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I deserve more here. Wait a minute. And your spirit guides want that for you. They're like, hey, they want you to have more than the bare minimum because you deserve more than the bare minimum, pile 1. But let's see what the tarot cards are before I go too far. So we have the 6 of Cups. Now that's interesting. 6 of Cups denote something of history, something being nostalgic, childhood, the way things used to be. Very interesting. Sometimes it can even mean family too, or like siblings. So I don't know if like a sibling pair is involved in this. Like I know sometimes if you ever work at a family business, like unfortunately, sometimes family businesses, like they'll prioritize their family over like employees that are not family. And then you get like the short end of the stick just because you're not family. So it could be maybe that's why the 6 of Cups came up. Could also be just like denoting this has been a history here at this place. Like it's just the way it always has been. So no one ever speaks up and talks about it. Could also be if like this is a family situation, pile 1, instead of like a job specifically. There's something to do with siblings involved. Like maybe this is a sibling that always has gotten more favored and gotten more of the basket. And it's the parent that's the authority figure that is kind of spoiling them a bit more or paying more attention to them, etc. Whatever the energy exchange that's being unfair is. You know, how it materializes. And then we have the Knight of Swords. Okay, taking action with the mind or the things that we say. Okay, there's something about people either saying something or not saying something. Like I was saying, maybe with the silence, people aren't speaking up enough. Core energy is not being able to emotionally move on. Okay, that's very interesting. Feeling kind of stuck for some reason emotionally. And then we have, like I was saying before, the 9 of Pentacles reversed is lacking the fruits from our labor. Someone's not getting what they put in. Out. And then last but not least, we have the 3 of Wands reversed as the outcome card, and that's being unable to take action on plans that we have made for the future, or being unable to embark on tasks related to ambition, okay, the things that we want, the things that we are planned for, but we feel kind of stuck in the harbor. We can't really sail out quite yet for whatever reason. So let me look over your tarot cards for a moment here, pile 1. Yeah, I want to say it's like there's a history here of someone not taking action when they're supposed to when it comes to saying things. Especially if this is a family-oriented thing, pile 1. It's like someone is not... And especially with the 8 of Cups reversed being the core card, it's all centralized around, like, what is the actual core issue here? And the core issue here is someone in the situation is not able to emotionally move on from something. I don't know if it's like resentment or this is that entrenchment in, oh, this is the way things have always been, so why change it kind of mentality, right? That horrible mentality that gets people stuck in ruts because they think, we're not going to change anything. What works, right? Even though it might not work and it's just glued together with like duct tape and prayer, right? and hope, right? And so it feels like, oh yeah. And then, but the problem is that because of that focus, because of the way that someone either says or doesn't say something, and the history of it here, or it could be like family issues, like I was saying, once again, I'll just reiterate that Nine of Pentacles reversed is not getting the fruits of your labor out of things, and then it blocks you from being able to take action towards plans that you've already been kind of looking at, okay? So I don't know if it's like financial things are being withheld from you. I'm not seeing a lot of pentacles other than the one Nine of Pentacles reversed. This is a pretty balanced reading in terms of like the elements and the suits, so I tend to read that as a tarot reader as this is, for a lot of you, it might be a different thing, okay? It's not really a solely focused reading, so just apply this completely to your own situation. Like I said, family, job, whatever situation in your life that this applies to, but yeah, it's just not fair. And I think there's just a lot of lingering resentment. People can't emotionally move on. Maybe it's even some of the history entrenchment is feeling like the authority figure feels like they deprived someone earlier, so to make up for it, they're overcompensating by spoiling them now and being super, super overly fair to them, but not fair to anybody else. So then they're just repeating the same mistake of, well, now they're screwing someone else over. And so that creates resentment in more people. So then the pattern just repeats, right? Pile one, which is not fun. And that just causes more issues, of course. And so your spirit guides are reaching out to you to tell you, I see you. I understand the issue. I know that you're looking for an epiphany. And right now, because tarot is all about predicting the future, or the present based on current trajectory. It's not always 100% set in stone, pile one. And that's the beauty of tarot, is that you can change your path. I'm just reading the energy of right now. And right now, probably pretty obviously to you, because you're probably feeling it if you've noticed this whole crap going on, right? So we'll put it, right? The outcome is the Three of Wands reversed of, you're not going to be able to break through those blockages yet. And that's the epiphany that your spirit guides want you to be able to break through to get to your goals. Because goals was also another thing, funnily enough, like with this card right here with the Taekwondo girl, right? And that's literally what the Three of Wands is all about. It's the same energy of goals, of ambition. What am I aiming towards? What do I have to break in my way, like a block, or a brick, or whatever object you might be breaking, bias could be it, or someone feeling bad for somebody that, but then screwing everyone else over just because they feel bad for that one person, but then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of, well, then they make other people feel hurt. You know what I mean? We were talking about that just before. And yeah. So overall emotions here are emotional resentment, unfairness, feeling stuck is another really prominent thing coming forward. So to cap off the reading, pile three. I said that because I'm going to draw 3 cards for you here. Pile one, not pile three. I'm going to do a final 3 cards of advice on breaking the blockage here. Okay. Part of it might be turning the 8 of Cups upside down so that it's more, it's the upright meaning of, now you're able to emotionally move on. You might just need to emotionally move on from this situation, pile one, because it might be a situation where it's like you're just not going to get what you want from it because people involved otherwise are just so rigid, okay? But I will draw these 3 cards for you. So spirit guides, can you please give advice for pile one so that they can break through and change that direct trajectory, okay? How do they move on? How do they get the fruits from their labor? And how do they move through these obstacles so that they can take action on their plans? We have the 7 of Cups, okay? Deliberating over what do we truly want. Remember, I was just saying you might need to actually move on from the situation, pile one. We have Aladdin here with the lamps. Yeah. And then we have the Devil reversed, freeing ourselves from what chains us. I said it before, I was like, you might just need to move on, pile one. And then 4 of Pentacles is reserving our energy. Yeah, saving for ourselves can mean stinginess, but sometimes it's a self-preservation type card, pile one. So pretty straightforward. This is a pretty blunt answer of advice here on breaking through, is really reevaluate what are you hoping to get out of this situation, okay? Number 2, what is making you feel stuck, and what would you do to make yourself feel unstuck, okay? And I'm going to say with the Devil reversed, excuse me, that is indicating that the best way forward is to free yourself from the situation that's holding you down, because that's literally what that card means, right on the 10, of course. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles, which is all about reserving our energy. Like the vulture there is kind of like hoarding these coins, and then the mother or the girl between his arms, right? Or wings, I should say. It's about saving up, keeping what you need, okay? It might need to be a situation where you need to save up to even leave. Maybe if it's like a home situation or a job, you got to save up before you go off to try to find a different job or a different career, things like that, depending on your situation. But really focus right now on reserving your own time. It could also indicate that while you're working on fixing the situation, pile 1, reserve your own energy and don't give so much to this situation, because honestly, it feels like you throwing all this effort and energy into a black hole that's never going to spit it back out to you in another part of the universe. It's just like people are just going to keep taking. And the only way out of being taken advantage of, pile 1, is to walk away. So, of course, you can always walk away from a tarot reading and decide as you want to do. You have free will, like I was just saying earlier. But if you want to change this blockage of the Three of Wands reversed of I can't move forward on my ambitions, and the blockage of the Nine of Pentacles reversed of I'm not getting the fruits from my labor, you gotta take your labor elsewhere, okay? So that you can find a place with more fertile soil to plant those seeds so that you can actually reap more of the own crop that you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, pile 1, okay? So that is their advice for you, their crucial message for you today. And that is what I will leave you with. So thank you so much for tuning in for the Spirit Guide message today, pile 1. If you liked it, if it resonated, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. That just helps me out a tad, which helps me provide more readings for you and others in the future. And as is our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile 1. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about a crucial message from your spirit guides, what they want you to know most right now. As you recall, the card used to pick your pile today was number 18, Spirals of Manifestation. Very beautiful card, very beautiful message. It's often about the way things manifest in paths we don't quite expect. Sometimes the things that we want don't come to our laps or our hands in a straight A to Z line. Sometimes the way things manifest for us is all about zigzags and curveballs, right? Because life is never straightforward, right, pile 2? So, like I said, very beautiful message to start off with. But of course, we are going to draw some oracle cards and glean together a more cohesive overall message from your spirit guides today. But I did just want to kind of talk about that one first. So, spirit guides coming forward for pile 2 today. What crucial message do you want them to know? What's most important for them to know right now? Thank you. We have this one right here. Beautiful. We have surrender to joy, and I'll read this down at the bottom. A key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling during both the hard and easy times. Keep surrendering to more joy. Okay, so perhaps there's been a bit of an unhappiness recently in your life. Maybe related to something you've been trying to manifest that just isn't coming about. But like I said, more cards, more details. So let's shuffle the other decks. There we go. A bit of a messy shuffle there. Definitely that one. We have gorgeous number 26, Balance, from Teacher Guides. You know, there's a lot of cards today that are about, I mean, like this figure right here is leaping and this one is balancing on a tightrope. I wonder if you've had to do a lot of juggling recently. Very funnily, just watch you get the Two of Pentacles today. It's like the juggling card in tarot. Balance. Having to balance things. Maybe that's been causing some of your unhappiness, is having to juggle a lot of things recently. Maybe a bit of a stress element. Let's see. And then last but not least, for oracles at least, we have Lantern Oracle. Okay, well, definitely that one. Number 13, false beliefs, and I'll read the small text down here for you. It's probably a bit hard to see on camera. It says, once the untruths that we believe about ourselves are illuminated, so are the ways we can release the false limitations they confine us to. Okay, so basically this card is all about limiting beliefs about ourselves. And we have a figure with a great horned owl that makes me think of Athena, right? She was associated with wisdom and the owl. Being wise about ourselves. Maybe there's been a feeling of inadequacy lately internally with you, pile 2. Feeling like you can't juggle things, feeling like I can't manifest the things that I want to manifest. What's wrong with me? Okay, so it seems like this reading might be a little bit more of a pep talk. Of course, we're going to glean more details later with your tarot cards, but I like to focus on the oracle cards first to give them more equal distribution of attention, because every card in a reading is important, pile 2, as we all know. So let's see here. Yeah, it seems like there's just also been a lot of things coming your way that have been trying to throw you off balance, because I'm especially drawn to like the wind pattern here in the balance card trying to flow through her. It's because not only is she trying to balance on a tightrope, it's just like there's things buffeting her with the wind. And it's like, not only is that difficult in the first place, but then she's been thrown these curveballs, like I was saying before with your spirals, the manifestation card, and having to do it with grace. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do in life, pile 2, is managing stress and managing the things that life throws at us without looking like we're even dropping a single bead of sweat on the outside, right? We've all been in situations like that, where internally we're screaming. Internally we're like that meme of the dog in the fire going, this is fine. But on the outside, we completely look like we have everything under control, okay? And so it seems like that's what your spirit guides want to reach out to you about today, is either something about managing that balance or accepting yourself more for when you do make a stumble on that tightrope that you've been walking, or it can also be a threefold message about being less harsh on yourself when it comes to difficult situations like this too. And especially because of the presence of surrender to joy. Okay. Like it says, a key positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it, indulge in random acts of smiling. Even during hard times, keep surrendering to more joy. So they also want you to learn to take care of yourself more when times get really hard, okay? Easier said than done. I know sometimes we go through hard times in life that we're juggling a lot, we're really struggling, it's stressful, and we neglect self-care. It's very easy to do. We skip a shower an extra day that week because we're just bone dry tired at the end of the day after all the work that we've been doing, right? Or we skip out on a common self-care ritual, like say taking a relaxing bath or going to get a massage, drinking our favorite tea, insert whatever makes you smile here. Your spirit guides are reminding you, don't forget those things, pile 2, because those tiny things, even just a second to take a meditative breath during your really difficult day, can make things a lot easier for you. Okay, it's just the little things, right? For some reason they keep saying Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're not necessarily talking about building something, right, or getting a goal done. We're talking about our emotions and maintaining our health during our walk to goals, right? But the way that they're showing it to me is more specifically about like the maintenance of a city, right? Things are falling apart all the time, you know, when it comes to buildings, when it comes to cities. Things always need maintenance. You know, that's the entropy of the universe, is everything goes and moves towards chaos and disrepair. And part of that balance walk is reminding ourselves that us in these tired bodies, right, have to build ourselves up like one would maintain a building or a city street or a garden, you know, whatever metaphor you would like to use. And that even though we're breaking down a little bit, that's just the nature of life. And it's not something inherently wrong with us to have to stop and take a break, pile 2. There's nothing inherently wrong with saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm walking on a tightrope, I'm going to fall over, the wind is buffeting me, I can't stand this, I need to take a 5-minute break to go get some tea and calm down, right? That's okay. We're human beings. It is very normal to, we're not machines. We can't just run 24/7, like, and if something goes wrong, we just replace it with a new gear or a new spark plug or whatever insert thing here. Life isn't for the purposes of being a machine that put fuel in, get work out. Okay, that's not what life is about, right? Even though in our modern societies, it kind of feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? Because that's how our societies run, is on people treating themselves like machines, okay? But the true way of living, the happiest way of living, is stealing away from that mentality a little bit and reminding ourselves, I am flesh, I am blood. That breaks down, and I need time to maintain it, okay? I need time to take a breather for me, okay? Not my boss, not my family, even though, of course, you care about those things. You care about your family, you care about your job, you care about insert thing here, right? But the common saying I just want to reiterate here is you can't fill other people's cups when your own cup is empty. And this is what your spirit guides are talking about, is remember to fill your own cup. Remember those moments of joy you can bring to yourself, and do not feel an ounce of guilt for doing that during the day when you need to, pile 2, okay? All right? No forgetting self-care. I say that a lot on my channel, but it's sorely needed in our modern society, in our modern world, from pretty much everybody from the ages of, like, probably 10 and up at this point, knowing schooling nowadays and, yeah, things like that. Everybody, right? It's okay to baby ourselves a little bit. We don't have to be tough and strong and made of titanium all the time. We're not. We're flesh. We're not machine. And then, like I said, the other parts of this reading are touching on, it's kind of a very multifaceted reading here, pile 2, about maybe something that you've been working towards that's not manifesting the way that you expected, or it might come to you in a way you're not expecting. And then, like I said, limiting beliefs here with the Lantern Oracle card is another thing that they want to touch on. I think maybe some of the limiting beliefs that they're referring to, the intuitive message coming through is the idea of you thinking that you're just this machine that has to grind out product and work rather than love and joy, okay? Also, too, I think you might have a little bit of a perfectionist streak going here, pile 2. Completely understand. I've done that myself before. I think everybody has a little bit of perfectionism sometimes, depending on your personality type, right? But with that perfectionistic streak, to believe in the machinery of self. And when you don't adhere to that, you might have this false belief of, I am broken. It's like, no, you're not broken. It's just that you think, maybe unconsciously of yourself as a machine. And yeah, it's bad when a machine breaks down, but you're a human being, not a machine. Okay, so things like that. I'm going to just glean a little bit more details here with the tarot cards from your spirit guides. So I'm going to draw those right now. Spirit team for pile 2, could you please give us a little bit more detail on more specifically what area of your life you want to talk about here, or their life, I should say, for pile 2. Like, what's going on here? Because it seems to be quite a multifaceted message today, which is good. It's good to get more than one, but I just want to make sure, like, what's the most crucial thing. So, 5 cards, please. Thank you. Definitely this one. Number 1, we have, okay, common message today, pile 2. 9 of Pentacles reversed. You're not getting the fruits of your labor. Okay, who's overworking themselves? I want to know. Okay, and then we have the 6 of Cups. Funny, this also came out. God, pile 1 had a lot of these cards too. Maybe if you were drawn to pile 1, look at that one as well. That's about the past. That's about nostalgia. That's about sometimes siblings or family. Okay, let's see what else pops out. We have also pile 1 got this one in a different order. Very strange. We have the Knight of Swords, and I swear to God, you saw me shuffle. And that's the core feeling today, pile 2, is the Knight of Swords is all about the actions that we take with our mind or our mouth, right? Communication. Next up, we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay, a bad turn of luck. We'll talk about that in a second. Don't run away from the reading. Because that's another thing I want to emphasize, is that tarot readings are just a picture of the future right at this moment, but you can always change that. You have free will. And then the outcome here is the Queen of Wands. Mastering our internal confidence, mastering our internal fire, okay? What gives us ambition? what makes us feel ego in the good way, right? Funny too, because she's also holding a stick and kind of balancing like your balance card is as well. So let's take a gander at these. Apologies for a moment of silence as I look over your tarot cards pile too. I'm going to say this tends to be a pattern for you, pile two, because of the Six of Cups being next to the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Knight of Pentacles reversed being the very first card tells me it's like the inciting incident of the situation is just you're not getting the fruits of your labor that you're putting in, okay? You're not paying yourself enough, or someone isn't paying you enough or giving you enough, at least of some energy exchange. It doesn't always have to be money, right? Time, attention, appreciation, things like that. And Six of Cups is like a history, something being of the past, okay? I don't know if as a child, maybe, like, you had to do a lot of extra work compared to your siblings, or you had to grow up really fast, or you just... There's some sort of pattern of being very difficult and hard on yourself when it comes to asking for what you want, okay? Or desiring what you need out of what you put into things, right? Getting your equivalent exchange. And so that maybe is where that tendency came from, is earlier times in life. And your spirit guides are maybe saying, hey, think about breaking out of that cycle so that's easier on yourself going forward. And especially when it comes to the matters of speaking up for yourself more, pile two, because of the Knight of Swords is action with the mind or the mouth. Also taking action and active steps, right, to ensuring that you retrain your brain to value and think about those things more, okay? Because sometimes the issue, and I've said this on readings before, I call it the monkey brain, okay? We have this brain. It's a wonderful thing. It can do a lot of really cool, complex things, as we all know, but it can also be really kind of dumb. We know the human brain. We all have one. It can be a pain in the butt sometimes, okay? Just to inject some humor, right? And part of overcoming issues like this is retraining that monkey brain, okay? Is saying to monkey brain, hey, I know you value or derive value out of feeling useful to others. That's good, monkey brain. Pat on the head. That's fantastic. But monkey brain also needs to appreciate we need to self-maintain a little bit more, okay? We don't need to be completely just pressing ourselves through, a bulldozer for everybody else and then having nothing but a flat piece of ourselves left afterwards, okay, right? Things like that. Because what's happening is that it's leading you to misfortune here with the Wheel of Fortune reversed. It's giving you a lack of manifesting what you want. Maybe harkening back to your pile leader, spirals of manifestation, okay? Things are not manifesting the way that you want because there needs to be more active energy on your part to ask others and ask the universe more of what you're seeking, okay? You can't receive something if your hand isn't open to take it or isn't reaching to take it, right? And so seems to be a lot of situations lately your spirit guides are referring to of you need to believe in your value of taking what you need or want, right? So that you can turn that Wheel of Fortune right side up again and get the things that you've been seeking, okay? And the outcome, it seems like you're on a pretty good path, pile two, because, like I said, this is the trajectory right now. You're on the way to the Queen of Wands energy as the final outcome. And what that means is you're on your way to learning self-confidence and greater healthy ego, okay? We kind of see ego as a bad thing sometimes. Like we say, oh, someone's egotistical, like, oh, they're just a butthead, right? if there's too egotistical, but at the same time, you need to have enough self-esteem and enough ego so that people don't just walk all over you all the time, or you don't just walk all over yourself. Once again, training monkey brain to accept that we don't need to be walked on all the time, okay? And when you embody that energy of the Queen of Wands, of working on self-confidence techniques, right, and self-esteem, and believing in your ability to manifest what you're looking for, right, then you will break through this blockage, okay? Then you will feel more worthy of the things that you want instead of feeling unworthy all the time. And that's breaking through, like, the false beliefs card we were talking about, breaking through those false beliefs of, yeah, like feeling I'm not good enough. Okay, so you could just throw those bad thoughts out the window. Okay, easier said than done. But so you might have come to this reading asking yourself, or saying, I hope my spirit guides tell me how to manifest the thing that I'm looking for. Because you were drawn to spirals of manifestation as your pile leader, pile 2. But what they're telling you, like I said at the very beginning, sometimes manifestation of the things that we want is not a direct A to Z straight line. Sometimes it's a spiral. Sometimes it's a curveball. And what they're telling you is your zigzag path, maybe even a little bit of a retreading path here, especially if we have to do some deeper dive work into our past, as to realizing why we feel like we don't deserve the things that we do, or feeling that we can't take time to rest, right? That's an indirect way you can manifest what you're looking for with whatever goal you have in mind right now. Whatever is most important to you right now is learning these things. Going through manifesting in that roundabout way of self-esteem and self-care. And then maybe you'll find that A to Z straight path afterwards, okay? Because a lot of times in life, we don't reach for the things that we need or desire if we don't believe we have the ability to reach for them. So it's a belief in self. It's a change in the way we think, with that Knight of Swords being the core card here, pile 2, okay? And then to cap off the reading, I'm going to draw final 3 cards of advice for you on making sure, you're still on your way to that Queen of Wands energy, believing in self, having a healthy ego. Okay. Spirit guides for pile 2, could you please give us a final parting 3 cards of advice for them to focus on here with this situation? Thank you. What more do you want them to do? We have the Star, hope or faith in things. I believe that's probably hope or faith in yourself, but let's see what else pops out. We have the 9 of Wands reversed. You feel pretty dang tired. I'm going to tell you that right now, and they're acknowledging that. You're like, I am so tired. And then Justice, what's fair to yourself. Pile 2. Pretty blunt, pretty straightforward. What they're saying is their first piece of advice is to have hope or faith that things can work out. Have hope or faith in yourself, okay? Hope or faith in yourself when it comes to reaching for the things that you want and desire, okay? Especially when it comes to the feeling of I deserve or don't deserve things. That's kind of the pivotal seesaw I'm seeing here mentally with this reading, okay? I deserve, I don't deserve. I deserve, I don't deserve, okay? And so you need to go more into the I deserve side of the seesaw, okay? Hope or faith in that. 9 of Wands reversed is all about being very exhausted, lacking determination, being very tired. They're saying, please focus on what parts of your life right now make you feel very tired, pile 2. That is a key indicator of areas where you need to focus more on the small joys of treating yourself, being nicer to yourself, more forgiving of self, things like that, okay? Rest and recuperation, like we were talking about earlier with self-care. And then last but not least, we have the Justice card, and that's exactly what it says on the 10 pile 2. What is fair and what is just? What is right for you, okay? What areas of your life do you feel an unfairness right now? Because I guarantee you, if you're feeling as under the weather and stressed as I'm seeing right now, having to balance all those things and lacking self-care, there's something you feel pretty unfair about. Like, oh man, I feel like I'm put upon. I feel like the universe is giving me the middle finger, or other people are giving me the middle finger, things like that. I'll just kind of put it in a comedic way, not that it's funny, of course, but and so that's your guidepost, is what is fair to me. Okay, what is fair to my time? What is fair to my energy? What is fair to me as a person who deserves just as much as the next person when it comes to, who was that author? Was it Thoreau? Something about sucking the marrow out of the bones of life. Yes. Deserving the marrow from the bones of life, okay? Things like that. It's kind of morbid, but I believe that was Thoreau. He wanted to live life fully. And so I believe that coming forward intuitively for this reading for you, pile 2, is to also tell you to live life more fully, surrender to joy more, suck the marrow from the bone of life. Okay. It's interesting. There's actually part of her outfit in the false beliefs. She's got these like tusks going out from her shoulders, like bones. Interesting. Okay, a little bit of symbolism there, but yeah. Okay, so to manifest what you want, some internal work on that needs to be done of everything we just discussed. And that's the spiral manifestation that will come about for you on the way to what you're dreaming and desiring. So that is what I'll leave you with today, my wonderful, very stressed out pile number 2s that need to take more time for themselves. Just to remind you one more time, not that I've already done that already in this reading, but if you liked the reading and if it resonated with you, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on this channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile 2, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about a crucial message from your spirit guides, what they want you to know most right now at the time you're viewing this reading. As you recall, your pile leader you chose was number 23, defend to the end the worthwhile. Okay, so right off the bat, kind of like what it says on the card. There could be a message coming forward about needing to defend something, needing to hold a line in the sand, or feeling tired about having to defend oneself or something from others. 2, we have the symbolism of the owl here, upon the crown, upon the third eye up here on the figure. And the owl, of course, as we know, is associated with wisdom. It's associated with Athena, also in some cultures associated with death or messages from the other side. Okay. Very beautiful. I love owl symbolism. They're one of my favorite animals. You picked good today, pile 3. Of course, I'm biased because I like owls, but... so let's draw your oracle cards to begin the reading and get more glean details from your spirit guides. So spirit guides for pile 3, could you please come forward and provide us the right cards that will explain more about what you want them to know, what's crucial for them to know right now. Oh boy, I'm not shuffling this deck very good. There we go. Got a bit better there. Thank you, spirit guides. Okay, definitely that one. Ooh, surrender to passion. Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. So a little bit of a fiery message here today, starting off with the surrender card that you received. This is all about, and I wouldn't be surprised if you get a lot of wands cards in your tarot cards today, but this is all about what sparks your fire, what drives you, what makes you excited to get out of bed every day. Okay. Things like that. So maybe about something you're passionate about, defending your passions. Let's glean some more details here, more cards, more details, as I say. Same thing, spirit guides. Please guide us to the right card for pile 3. Thank you. Okay, well, definitely that one. Community, number 56, runner guides. I'm also going to draw this one because it was almost falling out. We have rest, 33. 33, 56, if you're interested in the numerology. A lot of 3s in this reading. Community and rest. Okay. And last but not least, the Lantern Oracle. Thank you. Definitely this one. Number 41, radical self-love, and I'll read the text down here. It's probably hard to see on the screen. We can only receive love to the extent that we... can't speak that word. We'll do that again. Rewind. We can only receive love to the extent that we unconditionally love and live the truth of ourselves. Yes. So pile 3, one message coming forward from your spirit guides today is about authenticity. It's about being honest about what you're actually passionate about, being honest about who you are as a person. And I think the thing that was referred to when we talked about your pile leader of defend to the end, the worthwhile, is yourself, defending yourself from judgment, defending yourself from kowtowing to the whims of others when it comes to who you are as a person and what you want from life. Maybe recently you've found that you've had to defend yourself a lot from judgmental people who will say things like, oh, well, you should do this, you should do that, you should be this, you should be that, things like that, that are impressing their will upon you, especially because of the presence of the community card, okay? Community makes me think of a group of people. Maybe it's family that's been pressuring you a lot recently, or at your job, like team members, coworkers, etc., people that you work with in general who have been trying to pressure you into doing something that you're just really not passionate about or you don't want, and you're like, oh, that ain't me. Like, this isn't me. What do I want with this? Like, that's not what sparks my passion. That's not what makes me happy. And I think because also of the presence of the rest card, that's about the importance of self-care. Even too, like, radical self-love can also be a self-care message today. So you're kind of like pile 2 today. A lot of the piles today have been very similar to each other. I don't know if it's just a collective thing kind of going on in our soul circle with this channel, but kind of seems that way to me. So, excuse me. My voice is just a titch scratchy. I'm kind of going through a sickness and a lot of speaking recently, and those two things don't combine very well. Speaking of rest, right? But yes, so taking care of yourself, resting, okay? Not worrying what these other people say. Worrying about what makes my heart sing, what makes me happy, instead of what makes other people happy. And in that retrospect, in that understanding of everything that happened so far with this situation, knowing that the thing to defend is yourself, and the thing to have defended in the past was yourself, even if you haven't done so far. Maybe there could even be a regret of, oh, I didn't defend myself in the past, and I feel like I let other people define and guide my life. I let other people put the stepping stones in front of me to define where I should go, when that's not the path I wanted to take. That can manifest sometimes in, a common thing is, say parents that, tell you, oh, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a teacher, you're going to do this thing, right? Like when I was growing up, I had a friend who is very ironic, but just hear me out. She had, a mother who wanted her to do a certain career when she went to college. And the reason her mother told her that was because she said, when I was young, my parents forced me to be something that I didn't want to be. So you're going to be the thing that I want you to be, or that I wanted to be when I was young. Not realizing that that was a self-fulfilling prophecy of bringing forward that generational trauma of not being able to decide our own trajectory in life, okay? So literally, the thing she was upset about that made her do the thing of controlling her daughter like that was the exact same thing that made her sad in the first place, because her parents did it to her, right? So I think because of that popping up in my mind while I'm doing your reading here, pile 3, maybe you had issues with parents who try to control you a lot when it came to what you should and shouldn't be, okay? You should do this career. You should wear these clothes. You should be this thing. You shouldn't think that way. Insert controlling beliefs here, okay? And so there could be regret in the past, even with the figure in the Defend of the End with the Worthwhile. Her makeup is running, literally, like she's been crying, okay? She's tired. She's like, man, I've had to defend myself my whole entire life from other people. And maybe in general, pile 3, you've had issues with society trying to define who you should be, as we all do, depending on who we are, We have that because of gender. We have that because of, social class, insert thing here. People will look at us and think, because of the way you look to me, you should be this. But that's not how humanity and the soul works, as we all know, of course, right? We can be whoever we want to be, and that's what is the beauty of life on Earth here, and that's what your spirit guides are trying to remind you, pile 3. You don't have to be what other people want you to be. And in being yourself, who you are, following your passion, like your very first cards came out said, that is the act of radical self-love, and that is the act of creation here on Earth, okay? That is you as a soul expressing your unique light to the world, in a world that needs many different kinds of lights to shine more with how dark it is, as we all know, okay? And so that's what they're telling me with the symbolism of the light, is it's like you kowtowing to other people is like dimming your own light in a world that needs that exact color and vibrancy of light, okay? That exact frequency is a good word to use, right? And so not only are you robbing yourself when you don't express yourself authentically, you're also robbing others in the world of what your sole purpose and your mission here is, okay? What you were meant to resonate out into the world, like ripples in a pond from a stone being tossed, okay? Things like that. And so you owe it to yourself and others to defend to the end the worthwhile yourself, is what the reading is talking about. So let's draw some tarot cards, because the tarot cards will give us a bit more of a nitty-gritty detail view of maybe exactly where this is manifesting in your life. That'll kind of give us more glean to look into. So spirit guide for pile 3. Could you please guide us to around 5 different cards that will explain more about what's going on in pile 3's life with this situation? Thank you. So card number 1, the King of Cups. And you know what the cups are all about, pile 3? The heart. They're about relationships and our emotions and our feelings and following our heart. So the inciting incident is the literal master of the heart, the King of Cups. Okay. The King of Cups is stable in himself. He is stable in his feelings. He's not ashamed of his feelings. Okay, we have the Tower. The Tower is often about a disaster looming. Now, don't run away from the reading quite yet. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. And then we have, for the core card, the Three of Cups reversed. Literally, I was talking about, we had community, and I'm like, there may be some bad social groups that are pressuring you into something. That's what the Three of Cups reversed means, is a negative social group, okay, or a negative social event. So maybe recently it was at a social event that you felt quite judged, pile 3, or maybe just a group that you're in that you feel quite judged in or pressured by. We have the Hanged Man, different perspectives, okay, looking at the world in different ways. And last but not least, we have, it's very funny, the Six of Cups came out in every single reading today. That seems to be a collective message, but specifically you got the Six of Cups reversed, which is all about negative things from the past, and it is also your outcome card. However, like I said to the other readers, or not readers, not readers, people watching the reading, that's a good phrase, viewers today, just because something is predicted in a tarot reading does not mean it is set in stone, because you have free will for the most part, pile 3, other than maybe certain pivotal moments in your life that you planned before you came here, right? And what the Six of Cups reversed outcome is saying is that right now on the path you're on, it's about you repeating mistakes from the past. But you can change that, and that's where that Tower comes in and some of these other more negative cards. However, you do have some positive ones, so let's talk about that. I'm going to look over your cards and also just take a drink for my scratchy voice. 1 second. So I want to say the inciting incident to what happened here, pile 3, and maybe why it's prominent in your mind recently, is because there was a situation where you tried to act as a King of Cups as the inciting incident. You tried to be true to yourself and true to your heart and what you really wanted. You tried to be stable within your emotions about how you felt about something, and it led to a disaster of some sort. That's what I meant when I pulled the Tower card out as the second card, okay? And it was like, oh no, this thing happened, and then boom. The Tower is especially a card of pivotal change, of something being drastically changed. I don't know if you were just honest about something and you got kicked out of a social group or out of a job, but I see that especially because the core card here, which I read as a tarot reader as the like the core emotion or the core event of the reading, or the main thing that happened, is the Three of Cups reversed. Like I said before, a bad social situation or a bad social group, okay? So you following your heart, maybe even this happened repeatedly in your life, or maybe just once, but led to a disaster with a social group or a social event, And it might have scared you about being honest and true to yourself because of that negative reaction or that negative chain reaction to the events that occurred after you tried to be true to your passions and yourself, okay? Maybe you were embarrassed. Maybe you felt ashamed and guilty. You were like, oh God, and as humans, that's one of the biggest pressures on us is peer pressure, right? Especially when we're young, but even as adults, adults do things just because they think, well, that's what everybody else is telling me to do, so I'll just kind of go along with it, or if I don't, then I might have a social negative thing happen. Okay, I might have a bad social event, and that's what seems like what happened here, pile 3. Obviously, like I said, there's feelings of shame, guilt, things like that, and right now on the path that you're on, you're being asked to look at that situation from a different perspective, hence the Hanged Man here. This is someone who is looking at things upside down compared to the way that they used to look at it because they are forced to look at it upside down in a different way. You're being asked to do that. But right now, like I said, the outcome is a repeat of those past mistakes because of the Six of Cups reversed as the outcome. Okay? Especially because this is also like the, sometimes mean like a family history card, nostalgia, past history. Sometimes it means like sibling and family. It seems like maybe this is something that's just been repeating throughout your life. But this particular situation with the tower was like a big wake-up call of, oh God, now I really feel pressured not to do that again because, oh my God, it was like a faux pas or I was embarrassed, things like that, shame, those types of feelings like I was explaining before, okay? But the beauty of tarot and the fact that your spirit guides are coming to you right now to tell you this message means you can change that outcome. And that's what we're going to focus on as we go forward in this reading. Now, we already have a bit of advice here. Is basically everything I already told you with your oracle cards. I will draw some more cards just to be sure and see if there's anything else though, of course. But they're telling you, defend yourself more, pile 3. Defend to the end the worthwhile, aka you in this situation. You with your unique frequency and your unique light, okay? Defend your passion, the thing that you're really into, okay? Really, here's the thing with passions. As long as they're not hurting other people, why should other people care? You know what I mean? Like, and it's weird as a society that we think of things like that. Like, oh, that person does that thing that's cringe, or, oh, that person does that thing that isn't socially acceptable, or, oh, they should have done it this way, or, well, that doesn't bring them money and prestige, or insert judgment here, right? But like I said, if it doesn't hurt anybody, what's the problem with doing it? And if it makes you happy and it doesn't bring any harm. But that's the thing is that, as a society, we think in those terms, even if it doesn't bring any harm, we're not going to do it just because there's pressure from others. Okay. So, yes, part of that advice is go with your passion, pile 3. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of following your heart. It wasn't a mistake, okay? I'm actually going to do 2 extra questions for you today, pile 3, because I want to know what the truth of this situation was, because they are asking you to look at it from a different perspective. I want to ask from their perspective what happened with this situation. So I'm going to draw those cards right now. Spirit guide for pile 3 collectively. Can you come forward for a question about, like, how do you see this situation or this tower moment for them? Like, what's your perspective from above? From a higher self, spirit guide perception about this? Like, how should they see it? Or how would you tell them that you see it? Thank you. 3 cards. Excuse me. Judgment. I was just telling you, I was like, oh man, I feel like people are just really judgmental. Okay, but it's kind of different than the word judgmental, but usually it means about like a soul level up. Okay, literally mean like ascending in some way, moving up the spiritual growth ladder is maybe another word we can use. Okay, phrase I should say. And then we have 9 of coins, reaping the fruits from your labor. Okay, and then we have the Star reverse, not having hope or faith in something. Okay, so the way that your spirit guides see the situation that went bad, pile 3, you might see it a certain way because other people pressured you to feel bad about yourself. Because people are jerks sometimes, right, as we all know. But what they're saying is that the way they see it is It was a moment of spiritual level up for you, and not to be ashamed, okay? Because sometimes we don't see the flaws in society or in the groups around us, or like the group think of groups that we're in, until we commit a faux pas of some sort in that group, and we realize, oh, this group is actually really judgmental, okay, in this particular situation, for example. And it was something that you've been working on your entire life, maybe even multiple lifetimes, because I kind of see this almost like a life lesson related thing for you, pile 3, with the Nine of Pentacles, meaning like the fruits of your labor. It's like you've been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this over multiple lifetimes, and especially in this lifetime of learning to defend yourself and being honest and true to yourself and what you want. And it's kind of that same thing, too, as if it makes you happy and it doesn't hurt anybody else, then what's wrong in enjoying it, okay? Things like that. And they know that the hard work that you put in regarding this, they understand why you're passionate about the thing that maybe someone shamed you for, or that you wanted to do that someone shamed you for. And then 2, with the star reverse, is like lack of hope or faith. Okay, they recognize that they want you to have more hope or faith in yourself, pile 3. Okay, have more hope or faith in your ability to follow that career that maybe is unpopular in your social group, okay? Or have more hope or faith in your ability to do things that make you happy, okay? Because as long as you're following your passion, like the surrender card said earlier, that's what will bring you to the level up spiritually of the Judgment card, okay? So honestly, your spirit guides don't see it as a bad thing that happened. They see it as, oh, look, she leveled up. She gained some, or I should say they, because not just women watch these readings, but they leveled up. It's like in a video game where you go through a harrowing experience and you get experience points, and that's what makes you level up. That harrowing experience was a level up on your part, okay, is what they're... It's kind of like the video game of life they're seeing here. Despite how hard it was, there is fruit to be reaped from the labor of this bad situation that occurred, okay? And then last but not least, I want them to offer some advice for you on avoiding repeating this pattern in the future. Even though we already kind of know, follow your passion. Be unashamedly yourself is kind of the message so far. But spirit guides, 3 last cards for pile 3 on what advice do you have for them parting, on them not repeating this with that 6 of Cups reversed earlier. Thanks. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Take your time. Page of Swords. Explore the things that mentally stimulate you. Okay. And the 4 of Wands, happiness and celebration in the home. And sometimes the home can metaphorically mean happiness in the self, is how I read it as a tarot reader sometimes. So, pile 3, parting advice from your spirit guides. Take your time. Maybe you felt pressured to kind of rush through something, is maybe another aspect of what happened, because the Knight of Pentacles is all about slow and steady wins the race, and it being reversed is saying that maybe you're rushing through something a little bit too fast. It's like, take time to go through something methodically more. Also, with the Knight of Pentacles, it's about taking action in the material world. If you have been hesitating on something regarding career, regarding something you're passionate about, maybe that's what was shamed by someone else for you, do not hesitate to take that action, is what the Knight of Pentacles reverse means. It means right now, you're not taking action in the material world. They're saying, turn that around, take action, okay? Number 2, we have the Page of Swords. Exploring things mentally, following things with curiosity. Keep exploring this area, pile 3. Don't let that curiosity about what this is die out just because of the judgments and the foolishness of others, okay? This is something to be encouraged, something to be explored, okay? Yes, maybe other people think it's silly, but that's okay, because it's your life to live, and following your passion and emitting your unique light to the world is what you need to do, okay? And then the 4 of Wands, like I said, is happiness in the home. Celebrations. Okay, celebrate the good you have done with this, or that you could do with this if you haven't maybe made that stride yet, right? Pat yourself on the back. Okay. Something too with it being home, it could also mean, I don't know, they keep saying something about interior decorating, which is very random and odd. I know that sounds bizarre, but there's something about interior decorating as well. I don't know if someone, like, made fun of the way that you decorated your house or your room or something. Or maybe it's, like, interior decorating is, like, the career-related thing. That might apply to some of you very differently, but there's something about interior decorating as well. Also, maybe it could also mean to interior decorate to encourage yourself and your passions more, okay? Is another piece of advice. Because even just having certain colors in a room, I mean, we all know about, like, color therapy, right? Colors are important to the way we feel, hence why, you know, like the color blue is very popular because it's a very calming, soothing color, right? Things like that. Or, you know, if we need more self-esteem, purple is a great color. Speaking of purple, because that's your passion card up here, right? Because we think of purple, we think of royalty or something being luxury or something being maybe a little bit more posh, things like that. And just look into color therapy, look into interior decorating, or this could be, like I said, a nudge to something about interior decorating with this reading for some reason, okay? So yeah, believe in yourself, pile 3, okay? You have value in the thing that other people tried to shame you for, okay? In your unique frequency, I'll just repeat that word, okay? Radical self-love of being yourself, okay? Defend yourself to the end because it's worthwhile. And that's what I'll leave you with today, pile 3. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked the reading and if it resonated, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. That just helps me out a bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile 3, with lots of belief in self and in who you are, and screw what other people say, because it doesn't really matter that much, right? Be you, okay? So, great rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading, pile 3.